All presented by St. Barnabas.
Local news, local topics, local conversation. You're listening to AM Beaver County on 95.7 FM, 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and 1460 WMBA. Presented by St. Barnabas and streaming live at beavercountyradio.com.
And we're back on this Thursday morning edition of AM Beaver County, and I'm joined in studio now by Samantha Vinson. She is with the new Sewickley Township Police Department. Samantha, good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
So, first of all, you want to just move that mic a little bit closer to you.
Too far away.
Yeah, that's all right. So we're talking today about an upcoming event,
Right.
which is National Night Out. So for those who don't know what National Night Out is, what is it, and what's going to be going on in New Sewickley?
Okay, so it is always held the first Tuesday of August. As it says in the title, it's a national event where communities just come together with their local law enforcement and just try to build a good community relationship with resources and the people they serve. So basically, it's just showing the softer side of policing. A lot of people see us on those media, news broadcasts, or even in TV shows where we're more about cuffing and booking.
Mm-hmm.
And that is part of our job, but the majority of our job is serving the community, and being there, being a resource. And then, so National Night Out is just kind of showing the friendlier side of policing.
Right, and that's a good point too, because a lot of people tend to forget in the grand scheme of things that these incidents that happen, the cuffing and booking, like you like to say, those are the most extreme examples of interactions between human beings when you really think about it.
Right.
And that's not the whole story. So again, it is good to have sort of this refresher to be like, hey, we're people too. We're people just like you. We're citizens just like you. So what are some of the events that New Sewickley is going to be doing specifically in regards to National Night Out?
So our National Night Out is going to be held at our local park, which is Green Valley. And so what my main goal for that is to just showcase all of our resources that we can provide to our community. So not just our local law enforcement, but our mutual aid. I'm going to invite other police departments to come out. Ambulance companies are going to show up and just kind of do demonstrations, show the ambulance, show kids in case they ever unfortunately would need to ride one, just to show them what it's like. Our local fire department, we're going to actually have the smoke trailer. If you remember from a kid, where you'd enter it and it teaches you fire safety and stuff like that. And then also we have local organizations such as Head Start, mental health, job training, those kind of resources for our community, just so that they know what's out there for them. Especially now with the inflation and the causes and effects of the pandemic, people are struggling. So we want to make sure that they know what's out there to help them. The resources that are available to them.
Yeah, and on top of that too, you mentioned struggling with wage inflation, everything like that. And we were just hearing yesterday from the county commissioners, Jack Manning in particular, that even on the end of the central services like police and fire departments, that the numbers are struggling. So I'm sure.
Yes, we are.
So I'm sure there's going to be a bit of an outreach in these festivities as well.
Right.
So how many staff are there at the New Sewickley Police Department?
Officer-wise, I believe there's 15 of us.
Oh, 15? Okay.
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
It's not too bad. We've been fortunate. My chief's very good at grants. That's and that in policing, that's a lot of people think it's the community. I mean, we do get paid by the community, of course, your township, but a lot of it is working to get those those grants and covering that. Or like for this event, it's donations through our local businesses. Just trying to work. Like I said, it's a community event, trying to get the community involved. The businesses that are in ours, we're fortunate enough to be able to donate and help make this event what it is.
Now, when someone is curious, because this National Night Out, it's about police citizen relations and trying to figure out sort of the ins and outs of how it all works.
Right.
When someone comes up to you and asks you a question about being a police officer, what's the top question that you get on a regular basis?
A lot of it is, do you like your job? Which is kind of funny. I think that's just the atmosphere of a lot of people. It's kind of hard for policing right now. We're not well liked. So I get that a lot. And I always answer, I love my job. Yeah, I have my hard days. There's days that don't feel like I'm accomplishing much. And then I have those days that I get that thank you that kind of surprised me, and it makes it all worth it. You know, the trials and tribulations makes that worth it. Just that simple thank you, or I could tell that I at least made that person feel a little bit better in their time of need.
And I think part of that too, and I think the reason a lot of people may ask that is because, again, even though we were talking about the levels of, humanity that are involved in the everyday operations that the police department gets into,
Right.
there are those moments of, oh no, someone's life could be on the line here.
Right.
And I'm sure they're thinking to themselves, how can anybody, be appreciative of that? How can anybody do that on an everyday basis and, go to sleep at night? But again, that's, the police department and those who work in it are up to that task.
Right. Yeah, I would say first responders in general were kind of a different breed, so to speak. You definitely not fully prepared when you first get out on the street, but as it comes, you weigh those negative things with the positive things, and as long as you keep those positives up and you just keep thinking like, tomorrow I might not have made a difference today, but tomorrow I have another chance to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the way the majority of us think is just, I might have fallen on my face today, but I'm going to dust it off and get back up and go right back at it.
It is. That's exactly what it is. And that applies to any job, but
Right.
certainly even in the area of policing, that becomes a huge thing. We're talking with Samantha Vinson from the new Sewickley Township Police Department. We're talking about National Night Out. We're going to continue the conversation after the break here on AM Beaver County.
Hey, it's time to wake up, Beaver Valley. Hi, this is Pastor David Grove from the Church of the Redeemed of Beaver Valley. After over 2 years on the air, it seems that some of you still cannot get up in time. So I've got good news. Wake Up Beaver Valley is moving to a new time, now airing from 9 to 10, this and every Saturday morning. It's time to wake up and turn our hearts back to the cross of Jesus Christ. So I invite you to wake up early this Saturday. To find out more, it's Wake Up Beaver Valley, Saturdays from 9 until 10 a.m. on Beaver County Radio. God bless you.
The best of Beaver County is easy to discover. It's right here on your radio. Tune in Beaver County Radio or watch the best of Beaver County live on Facebook or YouTube video this and every Thursday from 11 to 11:30. The program is made possible by St. Barnabas. For over 3 years now, the show has been dedicated to shining light on the great things going on right here in your neighborhood and the people that are making it happen. This Thursday, enjoy conversation and insight from an intriguing lineup of guests who are creating excitement and having an impact right here in Beaver County. Your friends and neighbors at St. Barnabas are pleased to support the best of Beaver County. The radio broadcast will also be replayed each week from 11:30 to noon on Sundays on Beaver County Radio. Archived Best of Beaver County videos can be viewed on the WBVP WMBA Facebook page. It's your chance to encounter the best of Beaver County with host Mike Romai this Thursday starting at 11. For more information, visit beavercountyradio.com. Turn off your TV. Turn on your mind and turn up that radio. It's AM Beaver County on 95.7 FM, 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and 1460 WMBA.
And we're back on this Thursday morning edition of AM Beaver County. I'm joined by Samantha Vinson from the new Sewickley Township Police Department. I didn't get your, what position are you in the police department?
I'm a patrolman.
Patrolman, okay. And we're talking about National Night Out, and that is coming up. What's the date again?
It is August 3rd, which is the first Tuesday.
First Tuesday of August. So, and it'll be at the new Sewickley Township Park, which is...
It's Green Valley Park, which is 184 Snyder Drive, which is a Rochester zip code.
Okay, so...
You need to MapQuest.
And we'll have all those details coming up at beavercountyradio.com whenever we post the interview from this morning. And we were talking about some of the events that are going on with National Night Out. We were talking on the break. There's going to be a helicopter involved?
Yeah, so I reached out to Stat Medevac, and as long as everything goes well, I mean, it is a medical helicopter, so if it's needed, but, we should have a landing, and they'll allow you to tour it, and they'll explain what's actually on it and what they do as a, medical first responder. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think, too, with that, that's always the thing that people always tend to lean towards, they'll say, oh, we're not so sure about the hostility, but at the same time, they'll look at a situation like that. It's like, oh, that's so cool. It's so cool to be in a helicopter.
Yes.
And it is cool. It is cool. And it's that kind of stuff that, allows people to be like, okay, this is, the cool part of the job. And this what makes the job worthwhile. And again, like we were talking about before, it's the balance of it. It's the balance of, oh, this is the coolest job ever, of, oh, this day is a little bit rough.
Right.
And again, it's just like anybody else, just like anything. And I imagine that's probably talked about several times throughout the course of the night whenever those conversations are had.
Right. Yeah, they definitely we definitely get like, what was your craziest incident and stuff like that. They definitely want to hear the stories, especially because of the police TV shows and stuff. They're seeing them like, it's just nonstop. And it's kind of funny because the majority of the time officers are doing like paperwork.
Yeah.
Like we kind of are like slow, and then you get that really high, like, and that's the craziest thing about my job is I just never know what I'm going to walk into. And I kind of like that, aspect of it is every day is a new day.
Yeah. You play all these different roles, whether it be, whether it's filing the paperwork or
Right.
making the arrest, or I'm assuming there sometimes you have to go to a courtroom and sort of
Yes.
explain testimony and stuff like that. And that is an interesting aspect of it. But like you say, people just sort of know police from like TV shows and dramas and everything else. And if you think about it, that's more or less like a highlight reel, if
Yes.
nothing else, for the police. It's just like, this is the most intense stuff that happened. It wasn't the entirety of the day. It wasn't the entirety of the
Exactly.
week. Those 1 hour shows, they'll go through a week's worth of stuff in the matter of an hour. It's just like, that's not even close to how it
Right.
feels.
Exactly. And then a lot of people don't realize as police officers, we wear many hats. We're counselors, we're, in mediators, just a ton of things. Sometimes we're even somewhat like, in a parenting role, just kind of like governing, listening, trying to show the right way to proceed forward. Like our goal is not always to arrest. It's trying to figure out the best, solution to the problem.
Mhm.
That's what we are. We're problem solvers.
Right. And again, this goes back to the whole point of National Night Out, which is to, show the human side, the connectivity
Right.
side of the police department, because sometimes, as human beings, you guys might be the ones who need that extra little bit of counseling, that extra little bit of, talking to. And so it's not like, you put on the uniform and all of a sudden you're a superhero. I mean, in a lot of senses you are, but at the same time, that's again sort of going to the intense nature of what people see. But involved with everything else, you guys have your rough days, you guys have your moments of I don't know what I'm doing, and again, you have that empathy which doesn't get really shown in those
Correct.
crime dramas or those quote unquote highlight reels.
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I know it's kind of funny. My daughter loves police shows. I can't stand to watch. But she loves them, and she'll be like, did you ever do this or did you ever do that? And I'll like sit down and watch them with her, and they seem sometimes so callous. And I look at her and I ask her, and I'm like, is that how I behave? Like, do you see that? And she's like, oh no, Mom. Like, she's like, yeah, like when you put on your uniform, you might stand a little bit taller. You might have a little bit more of. She always says I have like mom voice, and then I have police voice. I guess I get a little bit deeper, more authoritative.
Right.
But she says, she's watching. All three of my kids come to National Out. I make them volunteer as part of, they help out. So they've seen me interact with the community, and she always tells me how proud she is of me, of how I interact with them, and even ones that sometimes want to. Because I've had where they want to ask questions and kind of debate certain things, and she's always saying how I listen, and even if she knows that it would be a trigger that would somewhat upset me, she knows that I will never react badly to it. I talk it out, and she always tells me how proud she is of me, and she's like, "Yeah, you're nothing like the people on TV." I'm like, most cops are not.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you that, is that it's not just a matter of them showing the most intense moments just from
Right.
an objective standpoint, but it's always with an even higher subjective intensity, where it's a lot of yelling, a lot of
Yes.
screaming,
Drama.
a lot of drama, and that's not necessarily the case
Right.
in most cases. It's just a matter of it's more matter of fact than it's made out to be. Now, you mentioned that your kids come to National Night Out,
Mhm.
and that's another thing we talked about a little bit over the break, is that there are going to be events for kids.
Yes, yeah.
at National Night Out.
Yes, all the events for the kids are free. We'll have airbrush, tattoo artists, a bounce house. I reached out to Home Depot. I'm hoping that they'll come out. They have those DIY kits where you can build. I don't know what they'll be bringing, but they can build stuff with wood and paint them. I'm hoping to have Eaton Park come out and do like cookie creations.
Ooh.
And then we also, as New Sewickley, we have what's called the Drunk Busters, which you wear the goggles that make you feel like you're under the influence of a certain amount, and then we put you through like a course just to kind of highlight the effects of drinking and driving, so stuff like that. And like I had mentioned before, the smoke trailer for the kids, like they'll be able to go through that and learn fire safety. And I'm also trying to get the FD to do like a car demonstration where they take a car apart with the jaws of life and stuff like that, just to highlight what resources as the first responders and how we all work together, to serve our community. And
again, we've been talking a lot about sort of the emotional side of it, how it showcases that, you guys are just like everybody else, but also at the same time, this sort of, pseudo training, and some of it sounds, a little bit fun, like the drunk busters sounds just like, that. Oh,
it's definitely fun watching kids do that.
Is it by foot, or do they have like a little car they go in?
We have this like little 4-wheel like bike thing. It looks like a little car, and we'll set up a course. We have stop lights and stop signs and stuff like that. And then we'll also put you through the field sobriety test to see if you can do those as well, and kind of explain to them like what the purpose of those tests are for and everything. So it's definitely fun watching them.
Have you ever made a kid say the alphabet backwards?
No, that's not part of the
good.
field sobriety. I could do it. It takes me a minute though. Like I'm not like, I don't know anyone who could spit that out.
See, I had a thought the other day where it's like, you always hear about, police saying, okay, say the alphabet backwards. And like, we were never taught that. So what was the point of teaching us to go one way? But
right,
that's
exactly.
That's aside the point. But the point being that, all this little bit of stuff, whether it be the helicopters or the smoke, what was it called?
It's called a smoke trailer.
Smoke trailer. Thank you. I knew it was as a containment of something, but the smoke trailer, stuff like that. It involves the, kids and getting involved. And down the line, they may look at something like that. They may have fond memories on a moment like that, and they may think, maybe this is for me.
Right. Exactly. I mean, it's not about recruiting future officers or anything like that, but definitely just to show everyone, again, the softer side of policing and what we really, I know it's cliche, but most of us got into this field to help people. It wasn't to jump over hoods and be like, Billy Bad. I'm not going to cuss, but, like just being that, like, bad.
I know what you were going to say.
Superhero, I guess you'd say. So a lot of people assume that that's what we want, that we want the power, the authority. But no, honestly, it is, the guys I work with, I know it's to help people, to help calm situations down when they're intense, or to, just make something a little bit better. I mean, we meet the majority of our people at very high stress situations, unfortunately. And us as officers, that's our job, to calm it back down and find a solution and get everybody out in a better way.
Right. And that's part of the message too. It's that, we're not here to, see you all as potential targets. We're here to help you as citizens of the area.
Right.
And, if a target stands among you, so be it. But at the same time, it's not this thing. Because again, going back to what we were talking about before, all we see in the relationships between, police and criminals on these shows is that,
us versus them mentality.
Exactly. And it's not like that at all, because, and even if it was, a lot of people don't realize that most of the people that are in a community are on the side of the us. They're on the side of the police department.
Exactly.
Because the criminals are out to make, life a worse place. And that's, something that you just can't have. And it's not as intense or chaotic or whatever you want to use in that regard. But again, I think National Night Out is a great thing to sort of help drive that point home that, you guys are doing, the best job that you can, and you guys are there to help, and you guys are human beings just like the rest of us.
I think a lot of people don't realize we are absolutely part of your community. Even if I don't live within that community, I spend the majority of my life there. I mean, at the minimum, I'm in New Sewickley 40 hours a week. But then you have your overtime or your special details. And, like I said, I bring my kids to National Night Out. I integrate my family into the community. We do community days in New Sewickley. I'll be there. More than likely, one of my kids will tag along for that to help pass out things and information that we do, like booklets and stuff at that one. Mm-hmm. So I think that as a community, if you can just kind of look at it that way, like I might not have a residence there, but I am absolutely ingrained in your community. I am there. I am serving and protecting and like you said, doing the best I can to make my community proud and to serve them.
Right. I mean, And again, that's part of, working. That's part of, being a part of the police force, is that, you're there to help, the community, and it sort of becomes your community because that's what you're there to take care of.
Exactly.
It's your duty to help out the members of New Sewickley or wherever it is that, the night calls for.
Yeah.
So again, National Night Out is coming up. It is August 3rd,
Right.
and it'll be at the park in New Sewickley Township. And again, if they want to find out more information about that, where can they go?
So there will be something on our township webpage. You just look up New Sewickley Township, and then we also have a department Facebook page, which is New Sewickley Police Department, I believe. I don't know the exact link for it,
Yeah.
but you can look it up. Look it up, and all that stuff will be posted. And we'll have food trucks for you to be able to get food while we're there, and it's from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. So, and there'll be live music. There'll be different, demonstrations from first responders, the kids' activities. So we're hoping it's a good night for everybody.
Yeah, we hope so too, because again, we've talked about all the things that people think, and it's a good thing whenever people find out the actual truth for
Correct.
Connecting with their police force in their community.
Yes.
So we'll have all those links at beavercountyradio.com. Samantha, thank you so much for coming in
Thank
this
you for
morning.
having.
Because this was a great conversation to find out more about just what a real police officer looks like, and not what the souped up version looks
Exactly.
like. So hopefully National Night Out goes well for you and everybody in New Sewickley.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Coming up after news, it is Teleform here on a Thursday morning on Beaver County Radio. When diagnosed with lung cancer or mesothelioma,